a favorite color? Hallie, what's your favorite color? Is it pink? You like pink and orange. Oh, I love pink and orange. What's your name? Princesses. What are your names? Anaya. And what's your favorite color? Purple turquoise. Keira, it's you. Oh, wow. And what's your name? Maya. What's your favorite color? Purple and pink. Okay. And what's your name? Lisa. Tanaya. And what's your favorite color? Blue and green. All right. Well, those are all some of my favorite colors, too. Here, were you going to tell everybody what your favorite color is? Oh, you got a bug in your face? Yeah, I think she has lots of favorite colors. It smells so sweet. Like green and pink. Well, we have lots of activities planned today. We can start with a story if you'd like, or we can start with some games if you'd like to do that. I think we should do the story first. Story first? We're all sitting here. Does that sound good to the birthday princess? Yeah. Story? Okay, thank you. I'm going to start by telling a story.
Actually,
And I'm going to take my gloves off first so I can turn the pages. Thank you. Now, I'm going to start with a story about a princess named Cinderella. Who is that? Who is that? Cinderella. Is she here today? Where is she? Okay. Okay, I think she's sitting right next to you. She's going to read your story, okay? I'll back up a little bit so everyone can see. There are pictures that we can take a look at in here as well. So this is a story about Cinderella, and it's called The Mice Save the Day. Now, does anyone know how fairy tale stories start? Once upon a time, very good. Once upon a time, Gus, Jock, and the other mice who lived in Lady Tremaine's chateau gathered around their friend Cinderella as she pulled an old dress out of a trunk. Isn't it lovely? Cinderella said. Well, maybe it is a little old-fashioned. Here's a picture of the dress so everyone can see. You see the pretty dress? Can everyone see? There we go. Earlier that day, the mice had watched as an invitation to a royal ball arrived. Since Cinderella's father died, her stepmother, Lady Tremaine, and her forced her to do all the housework. There's so many bugs. But her stepmother had promised that Cinderella could go to the ball if she finished her chores and if she found something presentable to wear. Her mother's old dress needed a few alterations, which wouldn't be difficult if Cinderella could find the time to do them. Cinderella, her stepmother and stepsisters called. They were getting ready for the ball and wouldn't give Cinderella a moment's peace. Plus, she still had all of her chores to do. I guess my dress will just have to wait, she sighed softly. After she left the attic, Jacques said, "You know what? Cinderella not go to the ball." Does anyone know who Jacques is? Do you know what Jacques is? What kind of animal he is?
She stays.
yeah.
Do you know who Jacques is? Keira. Can you see him in the picture? There he is. Those are the little mice.
Sarah?
Okay. The other mice looked at him startled. Cinderella's bird friends who were perched on the attic windowsill twittered anxiously. "Work, work, work," he exclaimed with disgust. "She'll never get her dress done." Cinderella's animal friends decided to surprise her by fixing the dress. After all, she'd been caring for them for such a long time. Does anyone want to see a picture of the new fixed dress? Ooh, pretty. You want to pass it around in a circle? The new dress. Okay. Does everyone see?
Everything is so
There you go. It makes a good pan too, doesn't it? Now, does anyone know this story? I feel like somebody's got to know this story. Does anyone know what happens next? Well, I will tell you.
What'd you say?
Excuse me. Oh, thank you so much, Cinderella exclaimed. The birds and the mice were overjoyed to see their friend so happy. She was always working so hard. When Cinderella ran downstairs in her new dress, her stepsisters and stepmother were very surprised. They hadn't thought Cinderella would find anything to wear. "We did make a bargain, didn't we, Cinderella?"
Suddenly suspicious, Jock and Gus watched from a mouse hole in the wall. Those beads give it just the right touch. You see that right there? Does anyone know who this is? This is one of my stepsisters named Drizella. She's not very nice. She's ripping my beads, in fact. Those beads give just the right touch, she said. Why, you little thief, cried Drizella. She lunged and ripped the beads off Cinderella's neck. Look, that's my sash, Anastasia piped up. The girls tore Cinderella's lovely dress to shreds and then flounced out the door to their carriage. Cinderella, her hopes dashed, ran to the garden crying. Now, does anyone know what this is right here? Does anyone know who this is? This is Cinderella and her fairy godmother. Now I think we can guess what happens next, right? Cinderella's fairy godmother said magic words. Bippity, boppity, boo! Can anyone say that with me? Bippity, boppity, boo! And she turned this dress into this beautiful dress. The one that I'm wearing right here. Now, the fairy godmother looked at Cinderella and said, you will meet the prince tonight, but you must be back by the stroke of midnight. Or else what happens? Her carriage turns into a pumpkin, and her dress turns into a normal dress. And what else happens? Does anyone know? The horses turn back into mice?
Yeah.
When Cinderella arrived at the palace, Cinderella felt as though she were in a dream world. Everyone wondered who this mysterious girl was. The handsome young prince bowed before her, and Cinderella felt her heart pounding. Later, he swept her into his arms, and they danced together in the castle garden. Gazing into her eyes, the prince leaned down to kiss her, just as the clock struck 12. When she heard the bell toll, Cinderella remembered the fairy godmother's warning. She raced down the grand staircase, accidentally leaving something behind. Does anyone know what she left behind? A glass slipper. Does anyone remember the glass slippers? Now, the next day, Cinderella went about her chores. She daydreamed and hummed at a waltz as she worked. Cinderella's mouse friends tried to warn her to be careful, but she was only thinking of the prince. Now, the prince looked everywhere for this mysterious girl named Cinderella, and he went around the entire the royal town, and he brought the other glass slipper, and he tried to put it on all of the ladies' feet. But it only fit on one girl. Does anyone know who that girl was? Cinderella. The slipper fit perfectly to prove that Cinderella was the beautiful young woman who had won the prince's heart. The prince asked for Cinderella's hand in marriage, and the very next day they had their wedding in the palace. Now there's one more part to the story that I think everyone can help me with, and it's how every fairy tale story ends. Does anyone know how every fairy tale story ends? They live happily ever after. The end. Very good. Thank you. Okay. I think that while we're all sitting here, we should play the next game. So if everyone wants to, sit by us. Okay. Has anyone here ever played the game Hot Potato? Yeah? You've played it one? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take turns passing this around while the music is going, and then every time the music stops, you got to listen, because my friend Tia is going to play it. When it stops, we're going to turn it the other way, and we're going to switch the way it goes, but you got to pass it really fast like it's a hot potato, and then at the very end of the song, whoever the box lands on gets to open it and gets to keep what's inside. So don't open it until the end of the song, okay? Alright, so we'll start this way. Okay, I pass it to you. Then you pass it to Cinderella. Make it fast. Pass it to Hallie. To Hallie. Pass the box. Make it fast. Pass it. Very good. There we go. Oh, this way. No, pass it that way. Good job. Good job. now we
Now
get to
we'll
go the other way.
Good job.
Make sure you're paying attention. This way. Okay, now we're gonna pass it this way. Good job. Make sure you pass it fast. It's a hot potato. That's it.
All right. Oh, the song ended. All right, so you get to open it and see what's inside. Tinkerbell, would you like to hug her? Okay. What's in there? It's a ring pop. Do you like ring pops?
I've never.
Had one. What is it?
It's a ring.
Special treatment. Looks like
It's a ring and you can put it on your finger, but it's also like a sucker, like a lollipop. And it's strawberry. Do you like strawberries? All right.
It'll
Well,
be
then
really
look
yummy
here.
later.
Carol, would you like to give that to your mom?
It is, and it looks like a
I
pasty,
can
yeah.
do that for you.
All right, good idea.
Okay.
In your